Meanwhile, there's 5 AP top-ranked matchup this week as we do a bit of channel surfing and take a look at a few. Number 14, Ole Miss hosts number 7, Kentucky. That game is at noon. The second time these two teams have met, with both ranked in the AP poll. The last time in 1958. Both are 4-0, but have played the easiest schedules in the SEC thus far. To the Big 12, number 16 Baylor hosting number 9 Oklahoma State. Baylor has won 4 of the last 5 against the Cowboys at home, but the last one stung, a 39-point defeat in 2020. The Cowboys have won their 3 games by a combined 29 points this season. How about Nick Saban in Alabama? They head to Arkansas. Since Saban took over in Tuscaloosa, the Tide are 15-0 against the Razorbacks, and that's tied for the 3rd longest winning streak against an SEC opponent in program history. And in the ACC, Florida State and Wake Forest will meet in Tallahassee. Florida State plays for the first time, ranked for the first time since 2018, and Wake coming off that double overtime loss to number 5 Clemson. The Seminoles are 9-2 in the last 11 games that Jordan Travis has started. A lot of great games this weekend. Stanford, Steve, will know a lot more this time next week. What intrigues you among these?
I think it's the early one in the Grove. You know, earlier than people want to go to a game in the Grove. That's Ole Miss taking on Kentucky. Kentucky going on the road there. And we finally get to learn about Ole Miss. You touched on it. The schedule has not been strong when you compare it to other teams in the SEC. But that Ole Miss offense, they're one of 2 teams in the country that have 3 guys average over 6 yards a carry. And they're averaging 280 yards on the ground. I believe that's 3rd in FBS. And here comes Kentucky. Battle-tested. Didn't look great last week against Northern Illinois, but the key was they still got the win. We know they went to the Swamp and got a win, but how does that O-line travel to the Grove? They weren't great. They haven't been great all season. New guys filling in as they have 3 guys on NFL rosters on that line from last year. So what does that O-line look like on the road in a tough game at Ole Miss? I think that's what dictates this game.
Well, Steve, I'm glad that's over, because that means the Georgia Tech highlights that Ole Miss had don't play anymore, as it felt a little bit like rubbing salt in the wound with what my Jackets have gone through this week. But I'm looking in the ACC with Wake going down to Tallahassee, and certainly a game that could be affected by weather. And the way that weather affects this game is trivial compared to what people are going through with Hurricane Ian. But nonetheless, Wake Forest took Clemson down to the wire. This is a Wake team that's incredibly experienced. Sam Hartman played at a really high level, and they were able to take advantage of a young Clemson secondary down the field. The question is, can they do that against Florida State, particularly if weather is involved? Florida State undefeated. They've run the ball fantastically in the early part of the season with Trayshawn Ward and Trey Benson and Lawrence Toafili. Jordan Travis is playing at an unreal level at quarterback. That Wake defense was pretty stingy against the run a week ago against Clemson after that first Will Shipley run. So this is one of the most fascinating games of the weekend, and one that could really have some impact on the Atlantic Division race in the ACC.
And certainly you have to believe, Roddy, Wake Forest has expended a lot of emotional energy.
Yeah.
I know they came up short against Clemson, but that was a game that went to overtime, and they certainly went toe-to-toe. Both quarterbacks playing some outstanding football. Clemson, by the way, set to host NC State in that game, too, likely affected by weather, although it is currently to go on as scheduled.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.